Welcome to the Carbia Media Podcast, where we dwell into the journeys of business owners, entrepreneurs, and inspiring individuals. On this episode, we have Miguel Angel Leal, the owner of Fully Promoted. Thanks for coming in today.
No, thank you for having me.
So, Miguel, I want to talk to you more about before Fully Promoted, where you're from, where you started, and go from there.
Yeah, sounds good. So, like you mentioned, my name is Miguel Leal, and I'm originally from Monterrey, Mexico. I came at the age around 9 or 10. My parents came here. I think that originally the idea was because my older brother was going to university at UTPA, and he had gone on a scholarship, and that was kind of like not the main reason why they came, but then the idea was like, hey, we want to open a business and start a business and whatnot. And that's kind of like the reason we kind of started coming in. Now, my mom is originally from New York. My grandma is also from New York. My dad is from Monterrey, Mexico. So I have a good mix of U.S. slash American slash Mexican, to say it like that. So I came at the age of around 9 or 10. And then I obviously went to school here for the most of the time. And then I went into UTRGV, or back then UTPA. I got a marketing degree, so a business administration with an emphasis in marketing was my degree. I met my lovely wife in high school, actually, technically middle school, but we started dating in high school and whatnot. And now I'm happily married, now going almost on 16 years, just finished 15.
Congrats.
With 2 kiddos, Daniel and Alyssa, who are our world, obviously, right now. Alyssa is right now 10, going on 11 in 2 weeks. And Daniel just turned 7, so which are extremely involved in our business as well, in our everyday, and mainly not only because of business, but we also because we homeschool our kids.
Yeah, I guess we were talking about that just off air. That's awesome. Takes a lot of, I don't even know how you do that. Homeschool, you're telling me you homeschool from your office, so you're trying to work, homeschool. Right now he's doing stuff in the other room, so that's a lot of time and a lot of dedication to your kids and everything. And that's a whole different thing that I was going to talk to you about. I think kids would learn a lot more. It just takes a lot more time and everything. But teach them other things that are beneficial for life and everything. Important things, not just textbook and things like that. But that's awesome. Congrats on your marriage, on their kids, and your business. So what's called after you graduated, did you have any other job, or did you start with Fully Promoted right after? What were you doing after you graduated? Was it hard to get a job, or did you start that? Or
so interesting enough, my dad started the business in 2006. So I was 17 years old when he started the business. It was, if I remember correctly, it was my senior year or my ending of my junior year. He sat us down and said, "Hey, look, considering doing a business, basically saying, are you guys in or are you guys out?" Kind of situation. And at that time, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And I was like, then again, I was already taking business classes when I was in high school. Like, I already knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur in some shape or form, at some point down the line. So I was, in Business Professionals of America, and I took a co-op and whatnot in high school. So I already knew. So, I don't think my dad did it for that reason, but, I was definitely, one of the sons that said, yeah, definitely. So my dad started in 2006. I graduated from high school at that time. I was working with my dad at the same time as my second job after, volunteering and whatnot in my younger years, was a
at the
pizzeria.
hospital, right?
Yeah, so before maybe my dad started the business, I was volunteering at the hospital where, my grandmother kind of just put it in our hearts and just, we started volunteering at the age of 14, 15, whatever the earliest we possibly could. I think you had to be 15 and I was 14, and they gave us an okay because we were going to turn 15 that year. And then, of course, from there, I guess my second job was Fully Promoted. And then I also worked, my I would say my first real job without, Fully Promoted, or back then employing me, was a pizzeria. I was a busboy.
Where was that at?
Not CC's, Luca Pizza on 10th and Harvey.
They don't exist anymore, right?
No, they're no longer in business. But
That sounds so familiar. Was it good?
yeah, they used to be at the mall, and they had different
Oh,
locations.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that was good.
Yeah, it was really good. I worked at the Luca Pizza there on 10th and Harvey for I don't know a year or two until they kind of closed. And I started as a busboy, and then I it was customer service and different things, and I started learning how to do the pizza. Then at the same time I was doing Luca Pizza, I was also working for my dad at that time. I was doing the production, the embroidery, the heat transfer stuff. And as time kind of just progressed, I worked there. Then I worked for Cato Fashion as well as a general manager, which, funny story, I got the job by me being a sales rep for my dad. I was out selling door to door, and I went in and they hadn't opened anything yet. I just knocked, presented myself, and the district manager, well, at the time I didn't know who it was, but she said, afterwards, she mentioned she was the district manager. She's like, "Look, I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to buy you anything, but I want to offer you a job."
Oh, damn.
And I was just like, okay, like, tell me more. Tell me, not that I didn't want, I obviously loved what I was doing with my dad, but I'll be honest with you, like, I just like a regular teenager, like, I wanted something out there. Like, I wanted to get out of here or whatever. So I worked for Cato Fashion for about a year, being the general manager in my back then, because I was still in high school, or I was college, but under my dad's roof. I had to quit because my dad said so.
Quit the.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you. How did your dad take that? If y'all sat down, y'all agreed on doing the business, and then all of a sudden you.
Yeah. So like, at that time, my dad and I, I didn't know how to follow. Like now I see it. Now I'm like, I didn't know how to follow.
What do you mean you know?
Like he would tell me things to do, and I'll be like, nah, but kind of like a kid, like instead of as him being the owner and respecting him and whatnot. So
yeah, I was like
so at the beginning it was just a lot of like, I gave him a hard time in my perspective. He might be telling you otherwise, but I mean, I think I was just giving him a hard time, and it got to a point where I was just like, I don't want to work for you. We were, quote unquote, in my perspective, two leaders trying to lead a company, but except I was the dumb one because I was the young one, and not dumb because I was young, but I didn't know anything.
Experience.
Yeah, I didn't have experience. I didn't go to college. I didn't have any of that yet. So I went to Cato Fashion. I worked there while I was working with my dad, while I was going to UTRGV. Then I got an internship for NASCAR, got an internship for Target. And then once I graduated in 2009 from UTRGV or UTPA, honestly, I didn't want to work for my dad. I was like, no. I was looking out to work for Fastenal as a sales manager there, or work. I don't remember. There's two other positions that I was offered at that time. But long story short, I decided, I felt like God was calling me to work for my dad, even though I clearly did not want to. But at the end of the day, I think, I did the right decision. I literally told my dad, I sat him down, I asked to stay with him and my mom. And I said, look, I'm here. I'm sorry for not being the respectful, employee that I was supposed to be originally. And, I guess after working for other people and whatnot, I kind of just that. And I think the main thing is really I had a better relationship with God at that time. And that's really what helped me to like, hey, buddy, you're here way above. Like you're not here to work for them. You're here to work for me, me meaning God, which is actually one of the quotes that I now put in my office. But so I came up to my dad and I was like, hey, look, not sure exactly what you need, but, if you're okay with that, I want to work for you. You tell me what you want. If you want me to, wash dishes, not wash dishes, but like,
clean up,
whatever you need me to do, I'm here. And he's like, okay, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'm being serious. Like, you're the boss. I'm sorry that, that was not my mentality originally, but, I'm here. Whatever you say goes. And that was in 2009. He made me, I kind of get back into the groove with him. Cause I was gone for about maybe 2 years during that time. And then in 2010, January 2010, technically is when I started officially back with him. And I went from inside sales, outside sales, marketing, so on and so on. And in 2000 and I think it was 18, kind of we is one of those moments where we would meet. Obviously, so we see each other every day, right? But we would meet like at least be like 1 or 2 times a year that we would kind of sit down and have a conversation and say, okay, this is what I want for the business and this is where I want to go. And in 2018, 2019 is when he sat me down. And he's like, all right, I want to retire. Like, I'm not retiring now, but
stepping away a little bit.
But I need you to take the reins.
Mm.
And in 2018, I think it was when I started kind of slowly taking over the business, in the sense of, management, to say like that. I think it was 2008, 2019. It was 2018, 2019, give or take. And then, of course, in 2020, that was just a fun time, to say like that, where I was like, all right, that year, I remember that I was like, all right, I got this. And then, boom, pandemic hits. Curveball, like, you're no longer selling promo items. You're no longer selling shirts. You're no longer doing all of that. And then you really just, at the end of the day, it's like that mental chip of like, I have to figure this out. Because at the end of the day, my dad's not going to be here to hold my hand and stuff like that. You got to grow up. And I think that was the moment that chip, that change of like.
That little push.
That's like, all right, this is you got this. And I think it was maybe mid-year, June and July, when I was like, all right, we're selling, even within the pandemic and whatnot, like it's still going. I don't want to say it was our best year, but from previous years, let's say the last 5 years, 2020 was actually one of our best, even though majority of the stuff that we were selling was not.
What were we selling?
PPE.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
so we worked, and that's where we started. Our business kind of changed a little bit because we did, back then, at that time, bulk of our business was more on UTRGV kind of thing, like, schools, and it was more like in businesses like construction, and then our business shift to now doing more medical. And ever since then, now today we do a good blend, but even up to last year, bulk of our business was in the medical side.
I guess that was good. That kind of opened the doors.
Yeah, so that just kind of like
industry and everything.
Yeah, just so God kind of just opened that door for us. That's we're crazy. Able to, we ended up getting contacts in the medical field because we were selling PPE and whatnot. And I'll be honest with you, I mean, I know that every business has, tried their best and they were able to kind of also sell PPE and whatnot. But, I'm thankful for also part of the franchise because they kind of vetted all these vendors, and they still do. They still vet most of the vendors that we work with to make sure that they're legit. That at least in 2020, that if it was supposed to be a K95, then it really is a K95 and not a pirata from, whatever it is.
Yeah, we used to get people just drive in and just say, hey, they would open their trunk and say, hey, I have this. I was like, I'm not going to buy that from you guys. I don't even know if it's stolen or if it is what it is, or
if it's licensed or not, or if it's really true the thing and whatnot. So thankfully the franchise kind of helped in that aspect, make sure that we're vetted, then also being connected with all the other owners to kind of help us, like, hey, I've tried this one, it worked well, and so on and so on. And, we had a fully promoted owner that literally almost bought a full plane, a bunch of N95s and K95s and whatnot. And to be able to get, in our case, and this, I think, maybe one thing that if I could go back, maybe do it slightly different. But, we focused on only providing the PPE for those that were needed, in my perspective, in the sense of, or at least at that time, in the sense of any of those that are in medical. Like if someone like John Doe came by and said, hey, can I get 10 masks? We normally wouldn't do it. We would only give it to, if it's for, a hospital or a dentist or whatever the case is, that truly, they're in the medical field, to say it like that, and really, or, what I mean? Instead of retail, to say it like that.
Dude, we sold it to everyone. Everyone.
And I think that's what I would probably change. Yeah. I maybe I should have been more open to giving it to everyone, instead of just kind of like, hey, no, I'm going to focus on businesses to business kind of situation.
We kind of did the opposite.
Yeah, I think.
Say like the county and cities and stuff would go buy it, and they're like, we want to take everything. But remember how they used to fine you for not having it on? So I was like, you want us to give you everything, and then you're gonna, the people are gonna get fined because they don't have it. So I was like, no, we'll give you some, and then we'll give some to the, well, not give some, right, but to offer them to the people because it was hard to find. It was crazy.
I think also because our business was also, I was evolutionizing the business at that time. I was also trying to evolutionize it in the sense of, we started a business with Embroider Me. That was the name of the brand.
Right.
Embroider Me. So a lot of people thought of us like, oh yeah, let me go with my towels, my blankets, my, stockings, etc.
People from the house, like just regular people, not
more
businesses.
More of a retail.
Okay.
So the first, few years, that's what we did. And we did polos, and we did promos as well. But in 2018, when I started taking over, is like when I started to say, no, you know what? And not only me, but like the franchise themselves saying, hey, you know what? We need to evolutionize the business and change from going to retail to more on business to business.
So did Embroider Me change to fully promoted, or is that just a complete different franchise?
No, so the franchise themselves, we as owners had been asking for a name change for years.
Okay.
Like, at this point, we had, I think don't quote me on the date when we switched out, but let's say it was somewhere in, 2015 or whatever the case is. I think it was 2015 that we switched from Embroider Me to fully promoted. But for the 10 years before that, we had been asking like, hey, we need to change the name because Embroider Me just doesn't cut it, because it doesn't say, only says we embroider, but not screen print or heat transfer or vinyl or sublimation or promotional products like pens, writing pads, and so on and so on. So, for years we had, of course, the moment they changed, people were like,
yeah, of course.
Saying, nah, they want to change it, whatever. But that's normal, as business owners, we like to be in control. I think that's one of the things that business owners, sometimes we like to be in control. And so when something like that happened, obviously there was some pushback, but it helped us, grow our business into now most of what we do is business to business. I want to say 99.9% of what we do is going to be a customer coming in because they're with a particular company and they need, branded swag. If we're talking about a polo, or they need even down to shoes, socks, pants, or promo items. Like we say in the business, we try to help our customers to attract, retain, and engage. So we help our customers attract new customers or new employees, or retain them, or engage them, whichever one. And that's really now our primary focus is more business to business and helping them really grow and keeping their employees and keeping their customers.
I think that's a lot more, I would think, more fulfilling too, because say that one person goes in there, does a towel or a baby blanket or something, whatever, and you might not see them again. But with a business, you have that relationship with them, and then, like I said, you start, you figure out this is the problem or whatever. Let's solve it. Let's work on it, and then you see the gradual change to hopefully years. Say, hey, you know what? We went from here to here, and you see the growth and everything, and develops into a nice relationship.
Yeah, so it's more likely, you put it that way. We did have, so like maybe a few years ago, we had a customer come in and said, hey, I came a while back when you guys were barely opening. Can you work this situation out? We need I don't remember what he needed at that point. He came maybe about 5 to 10 years ago. And long story short, that customer was our very first customer that ever walked in our door. And that person had originally come in. We hadn't even set up. Like, our door was open just because we were setting up the machine and stuff like that. The guy, the trainer was training us about the embroidery machine and whatnot. We didn't have a POS system. He comes in, is like, hey, I have this vest. Can you embroider my vest? And I immediately said, well, no. I'm 17, right? I'm like, no, we're actually not open.
Take anything.
So yeah, the trainer's like, no, yes, of course we could do that. And I'm like, at this point, we didn't even know what pricing we're going to give or anything. I don't even, at this point, this is 21 years ago. I don't remember what we charged them or anything like that. But funny story is that customer, our very first customer, came back, 5-10 years ago, also to get that, another vest embroidered for something else. But you're right. But when it comes to businesses, I love to see that transition from sometimes a small location because it's only the owner and themselves,
Mhm.
which is where we started.
Mhm.
You know, when we started, it was my dad, my mom, Eddie, my brother,
Mhm.
and myself.
Hector didn't work there with you guys?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was just the four of us. We didn't get paid for the first year and change.
Mhm.
After the first year and change, my dad, sits down with me and Eddie and says, "Here you go." And he's like, "It's nowhere near what you should be getting paid because you basically, volunteered for the last year and a half. But I just wanted to give you something so saying thank you."
Mhm.
Which I don't know if my dad knew this, but it meant a lot.
Yeah, of
Because
course.
at the end of the day, it's like, you're working and you're striving to work as a family as best as we possibly can
Mhm.
to make this business grow. And for him to kind of take that random moment, like we weren't expecting it,
Mhm.
just give me like, "Hey, here you go. You deserve way more, but like, hey, we just want to give you something,"
Mhm.
as a way of saying thank you.
Like,
And
we appreciate you.
yeah, and then that always brings me back
Mhm.
when a customer comes in and says, "Hey, you know, the like the number one request, I guess, or the question is always like, well, what do you suggest?" And I think that's the part that I love the most about what I do now.
Mhm.
What we do now is being able to sit down with the client and say, "All right, what is that your needs are? Like, why do you want to buy that?
Mhm.
Well, what's the purpose of you getting that? Like, what do you want the person to feel when they receive it?"
Right.
And as soon as I'm asking those questions, it takes me back to that moment with my dad of how he made me feel.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's not even the fact that you do something ginormous for your employee.
Right.
Just sometimes it's just something small. I had one of our employees. I gave her, I don't know, 2 years ago. I gave her a little squishy.
Mhm.
Customer had purchased it, avocado. When you squeeze it, the little bulb comes out. She liked it, and I remembered, and then I bought her one just because I knew she liked it.
Mhm.
And then when I was doing a survey with our staff, it's funny to hear her say that because I asked, the question was related in regards to like, what was the most memorable gift a employer has given you? And her response was, "That squishy."
Oh, well.
Because it's not sometimes about giving them something flashy.
Cash or
It's about knowing what they like.
like they
Like
remembered.
or like how we say in marriage, their love language.
Mhm.
That employee's love language wasn't money.
Mhm.
Never been money. It's always been that intentionality,
Mhm.
that intentional gift is more valuable to her than anything else.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. That you remembered and they appreciate it. That's really nice. So so right now when you're saying employees, so a lot of your customers come in and buy. Some things are promotional. Some things are also for their employees, right? Like appreciation day and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
saw
So
some boxes. Remember those? Those were nice. Like
yeah. So we do something that's very common now. I think that's one of the things that I guess people are missing the boat on right now is employee welcome gifts.
Mm.
Employee welcome gifts. So we do it for different companies. One of them, like we'll do like where it's like the custom box.
Mhm.
The box is custom made to the brand of our customer, and then inside is also custom to whatever they want to put in there.
Mm.
I one particular bank, they'll put it will be a custom box
Mhm.
inside. We put confetti in it,
Mhm.
or crinkle paper, in other words.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we put the size, polo shirt size that the employee is going to be wearing, and then other things inside. They'll put a pen, a pencil, a highlighter, a fidget spinner, not a fidget spinner, but now it's called a fun cube.
Okay.
And each side it has like a little different thing to like play with.
Mhm.
And then it has a notebook and some other items inside that so basically what happens is that they send me, and now we have what we call a company store for them.
Mhm.
So they place their order online. That's that website specifically for them. So now a lot of times what people are missing the boat on is on branded, not just doing promo items,
Mhm.
but doing more intentional gifts.
Mhm.
So like, for example, welcome employee welcome gifts
Mhm.
is what we're doing. So like one of our banks, that we work with, they get custom boxes through us, and these boxes are branded, and inside has different goodies inside. So it has like the employees' shirt size that they need, obviously already branded, and along with other goodies like pens, pencils, writing pad, a highlighter, things they'll need for their office, along with like even a fun, it's called a fun cube. Each side has a different thing to do, so you could click on it or roll on it. So it's a fidget, kind of like a fidget spinner.
Okay.
To kind of fidget. So now we do something like that, and now we're moving on. Obviously, we're doing employee welcome kits for a lot of our customers now, and we continue to offer that. And it's funny to see that reaction from sometimes a brand new customer that says, "Oh, you do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course. Like, we're here for you. At the end of the day, we're a partner. We're trying to help you." Because I said this to staff. Look, at the end of the day, when our customers are successful, then we could be successful.
Right. It's
We-
mutual.
like we cannot feed our families without our customers.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
So we gotta put a good face in, and we gotta, not just, not I'm saying put a face in like fake it, but like, truly care for the customer.
Right.
And I think that's one of the major things. So now we do a whole lot more employee welcome kits, and more this year actually. We started doing something what we call company stores, and we've been doing that for, at least 10 years, because we've been doing that for our hospital here for that long at least. And the company stores is more of like a website tailored for them. And certain customers will utilize that website so that it's more internal. So for example, like a bank or mortgage or a convenience store, whatever the case is, they'll use that website so that their employees could purchase their products.
From the website?
Yeah, so some of our customers will utilize the website for internal purposes, so that their employees are able to try, so that they could request, in other words, buy merch, employee merch, and some customers will do like where they give an allowance to their customers, to their employees, like let's say, I don't know, $100. Here's $100 in your anniversary, and they use those $100 to then buy merch. Or sometimes it's, they do a contest. Like there's a construction company that recently did a challenge to their sales team, and whoever won got $100. And so then they let me know, hey, give points to these people. So there's different ways. So the point is that they use this website to, at the end of the day, continue to engage and continue to keep their employees happy.
So it sounds like before marketing, businesses would focus on marketing and promotional products to get more customers. But it sounds like now, I don't know if more than customers, but it sounds like a lot is being focused on keeping the employees happy, and I guess everyone working better.
I think there's just anything that 2020 taught us was the importance of keeping good employees.
Right.
I think it's always been important, right? But I think ever since 2020, mailing these employee welcome kits to their houses or gifts on December or whatever the case is, has definitely been more pronounced. Also, people are working from home now. But I've seen a shift in the last few years of companies being more intentional. Now, of course, we're also like promoting them, saying, hey, you got to be more intentional.
Right.
And talking about the importance of it and whatnot. But it because now also the new generation is also different.
I was going to ask you,
the workforce is a whole lot different, than it was 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, when I'm hiring, it's just the questions are different than I used to do 10 years ago. And the questions I ask now are just, they're just built different to kind of get better understanding of what their core values are. For example, like that's one of the things that I now look at way more than I did before was, what do they value the most?
Right.
What do they value compared to before? It was more like skill based. Like what skills do you have?
Output. Just
now I think, and maybe because I'm young, I wasn't aware of this before, but at least that's one of the things that I've noticed in the last 20 years that I've been in this business now is how that changed. At least either maybe it's just my business, or I want to say it's overall, but at least in our business, I think in my business in particular, like before, 10, 15 years ago, I was hiring, for the skills that they had, and not necessarily like care for their values, but it wasn't a deal breaker. Now It's like you can have all the skills you want, but if you don't have the values that I need,
Yeah.
then I just can't.
Yeah.
You know, I now I hire 100% on. I don't want to say 100%, but heavily on the values that they have. What are their goals? What do they truly want to get out of this life
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day? You know, especially with our core values. You know, being RISE, which is respect, integrity, solutions, and excellence.
Mm.
So for us, for me, it's just something that's extremely important for the business. And you know, like they say, you got to hire and fire by those values.
And I think that's more long term because someone that produces a lot might not work very good with you, with your back then with your dad, other employees. But if everyone's on the same page, same values, same the same path, things just flow a lot better. That's like there's all types of employees. Sometimes you have these that are, in my case, really fast in doing deliveries and everything, and then some are not as fast, but they just work good together.
Mhm.
It's like, it's okay. You're not going to push them to do what the other guy is doing, but if everyone's working together,
And I don't know if you do
That's
this,
fine.
but something that I do, and I started doing more recently, even more, is I have the entire staff,
Mhm.
whoever's in my current staff, they will interview the new one,
oh, really?
and because I want to know.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, it definitely is interesting at the beginning, but at the end of the day, I want to know if they see that person in the business.
Yeah.
Because if they don't see them and they're going to be working with them every day,
Every day. Going to
Then-
work every day and seeing
Yeah,
that person.
they're going to have to deal with them every single day. So if they're not going to get along,
Yeah.
I already have a good employee.
Yeah.
Now I just need, like, I'm not going to, fire one so I could then hire a new one.
Yeah.
So obviously I want to make sure that the new one that's coming in,
Mm-hmm.
I have to like him or her, but my staff has to be
Yeah.
on board on it. If not,
Because they're going
Then-
to be with them more than
Yeah.
you
a
probably.
good majority of times they'll
Right.
be with them more than I will,
Mhm.
because I'm normally just, telling, I'm not say tell people what to do, but I'm more in the backgrounds in my office most of the time compared to them. They're out in the production, they're out in the cells,
More
and
hands-on.
and they're having to communicate with them, constantly.
Yeah, working with them
Exactly.
instead of just you
For
focusing
them.
on one thing and then they're focusing on the production side.
Yeah. So obviously I would need someone, so I typically will have everyone in the staff, even if they're brand new.
Mhm.
And now again, I don't have a big staff. So if I had 30, 50 employees, maybe
Dude,
that would be crazy, right? But I would probably select certain employees to do it. But right now, it's only myself and 3 other employees.
Mhm.
So when I hired the most recent one, I had both of the employees I already had interview him. And I remember the first time I asked, in this case, Eric, he's the one that's been with us.
Oh, he's super nice.
Yeah. So like he's not a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
He's a production guy. Like
Mhm.
he's a type, just put me in a room, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Just let me be. And he will work like a little bee, work hard, boom, done.
Yeah.
And when I first asked him to interview at that time Megan.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, I need you to interview Megan. Now I knew at that point Megan was a shoo-in, in my perspective, the way I met her and everything else. Meaning shoo-in as in like I knew I was going to hire her very, very likely. Like it was going to be something major that Eric would say to get me to not do it. Because at that point I already had a conversation with her. I already saw her at work.
Mm-hmm.
To say like that, because I hired her at her work. She was doing her job, and I was like, hey, if you're looking for a career, here you go. Next thing I know, she called me. It was on a Saturday. She called me, texted me that same afternoon saying, hey, I'm interested. What can I do and whatnot? And I was like, I'll contact you next week. And she comes, and then on Monday morning, comes into the office looking for the job.
Oh, well.
Heck yeah, that's the girl. That's the type of person I want. in the business.
Yeah, for sure.
That definitely shows that initiative,
Yeah.
go getter, friendly, everything. I mean, I think you met her.
Yeah.
She's fantastic.
super
She
nice,
still
yeah.
does our social media
Yeah.
now. And but anyways, when I had Eric interview, he was like, "What I ask?" I'm like,
Whatever you want.
as long as you don't, touch these 2 bases, you can't ask for the political views, you can't ask for the religion, or anything like that. Obviously, I told him like, don't ask any of that.
Right.
If you do that, no,
Yeah.
not necessarily him, but I was like, hey, like just
Yeah.
don't do that.
We can't consider that interview.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, you can't ask anything. I was like, I want you to get 5 questions, just 5 questions I will look at them just to make sure. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And he did his 5 questions. Saw his first. I saw 5 questions. Was like, all right, sounds good. He's like, any feedback? I'm like, no. I think those are good questions. Go right ahead. I'm pretty sure he Googled it. I'm pretty sure at that point there wasn't a ChatGPT like there is now. But I'm sure like he Googled it and whatnot, asked the questions, and that's it. And then he did it on 100%. Obviously I coached him like, hey, this is what you want to do. You want to introduce yourself. Blah blah blah. And then he did it, but it also helps him grow.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, like obviously helps the business,
Mm-hmm.
helps me, but part of being in business is helping your employees
Mhm.
to continue to grow.
Yeah.
Not only in the business but personally. In my perspective, like I ask the staff at least once a year. I do kind of a survey, like, hey, what are your goals? Like, what do you want to do personally? Like, not only the business, like, what do you want to do at home? Like, what is your goal? And they'll say anything from, I want to earn enough so that I could go on a vacation, to one person saying like, I just want to serve my church more often.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, let me help you do that. How can I help you get to that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I need these days off. Perfect. You'll work these hours. We'll make it
We'll
work.
shift things
We'll
around.
shift so that you could not only achieve your goals business wise, but also personally.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's also some of the things that, it's funny because I talked to Letty, my wife, and I'm like, my dad and I are just so different.
Mm-hmm.
His generation was like, you work because I get paid.
Yeah.
Kind of situation. Yeah. And going back to like generational things, now the generation that's coming in, they expect for you to care.
Yeah. Different values, different interests.
Like they expect you to give them their birthday off,
Mm-hmm.
which
and with us, it's like, what the?
Yeah.
Okay, it's just another day.
Exactly. Which
back in the day
when I first was asked that by Eric, I was like, "You want the day off for what?" Like I mean, my mind, I didn't tell him that because I be unprofessional.
You're
But in
like,
my mind,
explain to me what's going on.
I'm like, I never had a day off. I'm like, I worked. And my dad, even to this day, when he's like, "Hey, why isn't so and so here?" I'm like, "Oh, well, it's their birthday." And he's like, "So?"
So why is he not here again?
Yeah. So he's like, "So?" But now even down to like, I have had employees say like, "Hey, it's my son's birthday."
Yeah.
Or my, whatever.
Yeah.
Can I have the day off? Like it's just the shift has also changed. Like, like I think start off our generation has been more, I guess, because of the fact that our parents just were workaholics.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, your dad, along with my dad and your mom, my mom, like they were workaholics. Like I didn't see my dad until late at night at best. Actually, my uncle David used to drop me off to school because we lived within the same parameters. And my dad would go with my mom to go work because back then we didn't have the business. So when I was younger, he would go out, work for Yellow Pages, I think it was.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And he was
we tossed in
in
Bronzeville.
Actually, well, technically that's one of my first jobs.
Yeah.
We were throwing
I think
out
we were
books.
like 13 years old.
Yeah. What happened to
With
the
our
kids'
name,
labor?
we were
What is
in-
it called? Labor laws?
We weren't throwing them. We had to set them like right on the door.
You had to run.
Dogs
and
were
put it in.
running after us.
Yeah.
I mean, in Bronzeville, remember that?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
calculating. I was like, man, if I can make this much, I can make this much. Afterwards, I was like, hell no, this is a lot of work. It was
Yeah. Which, but the values have changed.
Yeah.
Like back then, like my parents worked so hard
Mm-hmm.
and did, so we could be where we're at, which obviously I value it. But now as a parent, I think we're trying to correct that to some extent. We're like, no, I want my kids are like, not that my kids are, not that I wasn't their like their number one priority,
Yeah.
but it was just more like their answer might have been like, no, I have to work. Like, no, I can't go to your, I don't know, band practice
game
or whatever. It's like, sorry, can't go because I got to work. To now, like, I don't miss my kids anything.
Yeah.
Well, except this past Friday. No, but like typically, like if my daughter has a tennis tournament or my son or whatever the case is, I'm there.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that our generation is like, okay, I want what we call I think that we call it work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't think it's, especially after reading one of our most recent books that I read.
Which one's that?
By Andrew Titus. I can't remember the name of the title, but his background is, my perspective, similar to mine, where his dad started a business. He's actually his dad is the owner and president of United Franchise Group, which is the brand that owns Fully Promoted, Sinorama, Great Greek, et cetera, et cetera. They're the ones that founded Fully Promoted.
Okay.
Let me put it this way. So Andrew Titus, is about 10 years younger than I am. And he wrote a small little book.
Damn, super young, and
he's
the founder.
He's now the president.
Oh, the president. Okay.
No, his dad is the founder.
Oh, okay.
So it's similar to me because my dad started the business, and then now he's taking over. Now he was the president of Fully Promoted, and now he's the president of multiple brands within the business. And he wrote a book about basically earning your way. That just because one of the quotes that I liked was it said something within the lines of like, just because I have the last name doesn't mean it's a shoo-in. I like how he would say that his dad used to tell him, just because you're my son, I could fire you. And my dad never said it like that, but I always had a president, especially.
But you knew.
But the second time around, like the first time around, I was like, whatever. But when the second time around, 2010, is when I had that mental shift of like, he could fire me. Not necessarily that like that, but like just like I need to work.
Yeah.
For two primary reasons. One, because God is commanding me to do so. To me to work as if it's for Him. That's number one. Number two, I gotta work because at the end of the day, I'm representing. Now I'm representing the Leal family and how we do business. And excuse me. I already forgot what I was mentioning.
The Leal family, representing the Leal family.
Yeah, so now it's just like I'm working hard for that reasons and whatnot, amongst a lot of other things, right? But it's just so crazy, like going back to like whole generation things, like things are just changing so much. Things are changing so much so quickly, and it's important to continue to study our staff, study the different generations. Like my kids, like I think I mentioned to you before, obviously we homeschool our kids. And one of the primary reasons we want to do that is not because the school system stinks. It's not because of that. It's like we went to public school. We came out fine. Is the argument my parents? That's the argument my parents give me, right? Like, well, you came out fine.
Yeah, and then went to college, and I don't feel like it did anything.
Yeah, so not that it's like, oh my gosh, it's terrible or whatever. Like I respect those that decide to go to public school, but for us, it was a few different things. First, we felt like God was calling us to do it. Second, we wanted to really impact our kids. Now, you could impact your kids, yes, if they go to public school and so on and so on. I'm not saying you can't, but the way you impact your kids is differently when you homeschool.
Yeah, of course.
Because now they see you 24/7. They see how I work, how I react, how I manage the staff. My son or my daughter are always with me at the office, typically. In a more normal day, Monday through Friday, there's at least one of them in my office. Unless I have a meeting outside, then I arrange so that the kids could stay with my wife. But because my wife also works, she's a teacher. So she teaches online. Point is that our kids see us constantly. Like 2 days ago, my son goes into my office and he's like, hey, I know I need to do math. I know I need to do, we have a curriculum and he has to do certain things, right? And he's like, can I help in the office in any way? And I was like, and they do this consistently. They're typically the cleanup crew.
Good.
They like to, my daughter will, on a Monday, will come in, sweep, clean, mop, everything, the entire office, front to back and everything, right? Bathrooms, etc. And he tells me that like 2 days ago, right? And I'm thinking he's going to ask me for money, right? Thankfully, that was not the case.
There's always something there, right? You're like, wait a second.
It's already happened. Like, funny story. So my daughter was trying to generate money because she wanted to do a play with her friends. So they needed like buy costumes and they didn't do all this stuff, right? So she goes to me, says, hey, can I get a job at Fully Promoted? And I was like, look, you got an interview for it. You got to talk to your grandfather instead of me, right?
I was gonna say that's probably not a
was
good
not-
thing
it was not
because
an
the
interview.
grandpa's gonna be like, "Of course,
Yeah. So
here you go, and
you don't
here's
know
the
my-
money."
you
and
do
here's
not know
this."
my dad.
Okay, I guess not. My dad would be like, "Que haga lo que sea." Claro
Yeah.
que sí.
So Ali asked my dad, and he's like, "Hey, can I get a job, or can I work? Can I do something so that I can earn money? Because this and this and that." And he's like, "Yeah. What do you think you could do?"
What do you have to offer the business?
Yeah, exactly. So what can you do? And she's like, "Oh, this was like maybe 2-3 years ago."
Yeah.
She comes to my office. She's like, "Hey, Dad. So Grandpa said maybe, but I need to show him what I could do." I'm like, "All right. So what can you do?" She's like, "I don't know. You tell me." I'm like, "No. You got to discover that. Like, you got to
Mm-hmm.
like, what can you do?" He's like, "Well, what is there to do?" And I started just naming a bunch of stuff, embroidery machine, all this other stuff, cleaning, etc. When I got to the cleaning, she's like, "Oh, I could do that." I'm like, "All right. Well then, tell Grandpa that.
Pitch that.
Pitch that." So he goes back to Grandpa and says like, "Hey, Grandpa, I could clean." And he's like, "All right, how long is it going to take you?" He's like, "I'm not sure, but pay me based off of what I do."
The job, not the hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So my dad's like, "All right, I'll pay you." First lesson for my daughter. She didn't ask how much she was getting paid or when or how or what.
Or she had days off.
Yeah, no, like she didn't ask any of that. She finishes all her like so the following day, I think the following day because I think this conversation ended up being in the phone. So the following day, she comes in with me. She's like all excited. She starts cleaning. She was cleaning for like 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
My dad comes to the office at 2, whatever. He comes in. He's like, "I'm done. I did this. Had a list. She even wrote it down.
Oh wow.
And she's like, "All right. So where my money at, right?" And he pulls out a one.
A one
A
hundred.
no, a $1 bill. Like it reminded me from when you and I were growing up, because my dad used to pay me like, I don't know, $2 or $3
Yeah,
for
nothing.
washing the car.
Yeah.
So like my dad stayed with that mentality, I guess. So he was like giving her one, and she's like,
Like keep on going.
"Yeah, like she's
Where's the
just like,
fives? Where's the
yeah, she's-
tens?
I think he gave her like $3 or like it was maybe not a one, but like
Uh-huh.
the point was like, let's say $3. And she's like, "Okay, gracias." Comes back to my office and she has teary eyes
Uh-huh.
because she's disappointed.
She's gonna have to work for 50 years to buy that costume.
Yeah, because the costumes were like $60,
Yeah.
50, $60 a pop.
Yeah.
And she wanted to buy 3.
Yeah.
So she comes in and she's like, "Hey, I was like, "Hey, sweetheart, what's going on?" She's like, "Grandpa, paid me." I was like, "Oh, okay, that's good." Why are you sad? Like I could see it in your like she wasn't crying, but
She wasn't excited.
like I know I know my daughter. Like
Yeah.
she was disappointed.
Yeah.
And I knew why. She didn't ask. She didn't, And even beforehand, I already had told her like, "Well, how much is he gonna pay you?" Like, "I don't know. Well, you should have asked." So when that came around, she's like, "I got $3." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you an additional." I don't remember what it was.
Right.
I'm gonna give you an additional this because I feel like that's what you deserve
Mhm.
in this aspect. But you've learned something. What did you learn? She's like, "I should have asked how much she was gonna pay me."
Mm.
So day 2 comes around. The second time she asked for a job with my dad. And I passed over the phone to him. It was at we're home. And I start hearing my daughter. She's like, "Hey, Grandpa, can I work tomorrow?" I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, okay. I'll do this, this, and this." "Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it." "How much are you going to pay me?" First question. She like almost the first question she asked.
Mhm.
"How much are you going to pay me?" He's like, "What do you mean? Same." It's like, "No, I think I deserve more."
Negotiation.
She started negotiating.
At what? 10 years old or what was it?
No, she was like, I don't know, 6, 7.
That's good.
She's 10 now.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah. Like
and-
she's older.
yeah. So like, I don't know. She started asking that, but then she forgot to ask, something else. Point is that she learned
Yeah.
that experience, and I think that's one of the things I really like not only about only homeschooling,
Right.
but having my own business.
Yeah.
Being able to have my kids there
Mm-hmm.
and them to learn.
Yeah.
And now going back to where we originally started with this conversation, which is Daniel, like 2 days ago, is like, hey, can I help? I was like, no problem. But she didn't ask anything about payment. So I was like, all right, no, you want to volunteer? I use that word because this past Saturday, he had just volunteered and he really enjoyed it and whatnot for an event for Buckner.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, all right, did you want to volunteer? He's like, yeah, I just want to be helpful
Oh, nice.
for the business. I'm like, sounds like a plan. What would you like to do? He's like, well, I see Lupita. She's doing inventory. And he's 7.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, can I help her? I was like, I like your idea. It's like, you need to do inventory. These are for Texas National Bank. These are their inventory. I need you to count them. And then my wife is like, hey, but he needs to do math. He's like, no, this is where he's going to do math.
Yeah, you're applying the math.
Exactly. So this is what I did. I was like, hey, I want you to count them. Yes. First run, the first product, you count them straight. 250, whatever. Next time around, I was like, all right, now I want you to count these as well, these pencils. But I want you to put them in groups of 10. Put them in groups of 10. And then tell me at the end how much it was.
Multiply them and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then helping them multiply. So, I mean, that's the beauty of not only homeschooling, but in my case, also being able to have a business where I could bring in my kids and then learn life, learn business, learn that all here with me instead of in school.
And it's weird how something about my kids and say Sebastian will be on the phone or tablet with earphones or whatever because we have him there at the office, and he's listening to everything that we're saying because all of a sudden I say something and he'll he'll imitate me. I was like, what the heck? Emily, she used to go with me to go do deliveries and everything.
And now she has her own business.
And now at 15, she makes more than most people, and she's super hardworking. She knows her responsibility. There's things that she's had in the past that she, with her friends or with us, and she'll say, hey, you know what? I can't make it, or I didn't go to it because I had certain appointments already set up for her clients and everything. So she's become super responsible. She knows she's doing now her bookings and everything. Now I'm pushing her to do her website. So she's working on that, but she's, marketing. Now she's doing what's called TikToks and Instagram and tagging people and everything. So really applying things that, school's great, but I think that's when you really learn how to be applying it and being successful.
And I think that's the thing now and not to bash the younger generation, but the biggest struggle as an employer is work ethic.
Yeah.
Because for too long, they're on a tablet or whatever the case is. And they don't know sometimes what work hard is. And that's our fault as parents, because sometimes, I do that sometimes with my kids where you give them something because I remember when I was a kid, I earned everything. I wanted a drum set.
Yeah. I never got that, but I really wanted one. I remember you had one.
Yeah. So I got one.
Yeah.
But I had to work for years saving money, washing my grandfather's car, my dad's car, neighbors' cars, and whatever.
Right.
So finally, my Christmas gift was me paying for a drum set. And portion my parents.
Right.
Because they said, hey, you have this much money. We're giving you this much money. So therefore, here you go. And I remember crying about it. Because I knew how much effort it took me to get there. So now, with, I think that's one of the things that I've noticed in the workforce. Sometimes it's that's why the core values is important. It's not that if I hear, oh, I love working, no one's going to tell you they love working. But when I start hearing all of my employees, when I've asked a question, sometimes they'll say something within the lines well, they'll reiterate something about having to work hard because of where they come from. And that not going to say automatically, reminds me, but it only reminds me hey, that person might be working hard because like they come from humble beginnings, and they have to work hard to even go to where they're at, and so on and so on. And that's the case on all employees,
Right.
of course. Like, it's different. But I think the biggest challenge is sometimes when you're hiring an employee, they say hire slow, fire fast.
Mm.
And they said that to me so many times, and normally by older generation, which I don't disagree 100%. But I think now culture's changing. I think more it's like hire slowly, yes,
Mm-hmm.
but also fire slowly.
Yeah.
In the sense of before they didn't coach you. Like either you cut it or you didn't.
As an employee, you didn't coach you as an employee, or as
Yeah, like I think before when we were growing up,
uh-huh.
they would tell you, they would just write you up.
Yeah.
Like, hey dude, you're not cutting it. Here you go. Three strikes you're out.
done.
That's it. You're done.
Or hire someone else.
No coaching.
I think before you'd get so many, because I remember I worked at the mall. Man, I think once or twice a week we used to hire people. There's like 15, 20 people every single time to interview. And now I feel I don't know where the heck all those people went, because so you think about it twice too. Like, should this guy or this girl, they're trying hard. Maybe they're not the best, but maybe we could work things out and just work with them to be, instead of, like you said, fire them fast. And then again, you got to hire someone, and might be,
Like, my thought process is, if I took the time to hire them slowly,
Yeah.
then why throw the money away quickly
mm-hmm,
to get rid of them, quote unquote,
mm-hmm.
to hire someone else? It especially now, like, you spend so much money
Yeah.
on the hiring process.
And time,
Like,
a lot of time.
it's not only about like what you did to get that person in, but it's also the time you took, the 3 months
Yeah.
that it takes for you to train them. And in our case, someone will be training between 3 to 6 months, because there's just so much in our industry that like
Mhm.
I don't feel like you really like. Yeah, they'll start doing solo stuff, in the month 1, month 2, like obviously, right? But at the end of the day, I invest at least 3 months and then at that point I'm like, all right, I've done part of my job,
Mhm.
say like our job. Then from 3 to 6, I'm trying to evaluate, all right, like where do I need to coach them?
Mm.
And then coaching is every year, in my perspective. Like if we're not trying to get better on a
Right.
yearly basis, then like
Like, what are you
coaching
doing?
to me, coaching is like every day.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to read books so I could, learn, be better, be a better husband, be a better father,
Mhm.
be a better
It's person.
person in general, to be able to contribute to the community, contribute to the staff. So I expect that from our staff too. So every year, like I'm always, not that they're doing quote unquote something wrong,
Mhm.
but like, all right, what areas can we do better?
Yeah.
Like,
What are you
what
doing,
area-
and what are we gonna work
Yeah, like,
towards?
hey George, like you're doing this fantastic.
Mhm.
What do you think you could do better?
Mhm. Gets you to think.
And it gets them to think,
Yeah. Like, you know what?
I
I'm
could
not doing anything better. I gotta really work on this or that, or
But also where I've gotten ideas, like one of our staff members, like I asked them that question, like, what would you? I don't remember what it was, the question per se, but like I don't remember if it was like a goal oriented one or just like what can you do better
Mhm.
situation. And they're like, I wish I knew more about this.
Mm.
I was like, oh, hello, let me get you training.
Yeah.
Let me get you equipped for that. You want to learn how to do this more? Let me help you. So I think that wasn't there, at least when I was growing up. I don't feel like I ever had that
Mhm.
in either NASCAR or at Target or at the pizza place, or I worked very slightly just for a very brief time with Fred Loya, and no coaching.
Just throw you in there.
Yes, they give you prep. At least this was like 15, 20 years ago. Yeah, they trained me and whatnot, put me in. They gave me like a person, but that person never really like, hey, you're doing this wrong. Like you need to do this better or whatever. Be like, hey, you need to do more calls. You need to do this, you need to do that. And then I end up getting fired. Funny thing, I had a letter giving my 2 weeks on the same day, so it was more like a mutual thing.
Worked out.
Yeah, it worked out. But I was going in. I already had my letter. I was like, hey, I need to talk to the big boss, general manager. She's like, well, actually, she wants you to go over there. I'm like, oh, sweet. sounds great. I get there and she starts telling me about it. I'm like, hey, actually, here you go. Like, I don't think it's working out. Like,
Save
this
your
is-
time. Here you go.
Here you go. She's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, can you sign this? I'm like, sure. I'm most likely there for unemployment.
Yeah,
Now I
unemployment.
know.
Yeah,
It's
now
more for
you
like
know.
unemployment and whatnot. Back then, I was like, oh, sure, whatever. Here you go.
I didn't know anything about unemployment. Even when I was
Until
working,
recently,
right? I would get, quit or get fired. And it's like, man, I need a job and this and that. I didn't even know about that.
not
when I
until you're
was
on the other
younger.
side of the books.
Yeah, now you got to be like,
You're like, oh snap!
oh,
I need
shoot, I
them
got to
to
document this. and
yeah
that or whatever.
before. But
So-
yeah, like I feel like before there wasn't any. Like I remember with that company, like they just I was there for maybe 3 months,
Mm,
maybe 3-4 months, but then 3 months for me was enough for me to know like this is not for me.
not for you. Yeah.
Sitting in a desk, making a bunch
Cubicle.
of calls, and it was like you had to repeat the exact same like little
Mm-hmm.
verbiage or whatever, and it was just not for me. I didn't love it. I was more of like outside salesperson, more like, hey, like I want to build a relationship with a
Yeah, yeah.
person and not just repeat a bunch of mumbo jumbo.
Dude,
So,
I used to work at a bank, again, not saying
Mhm.
names, but it was the same thing. And they would sit right by you. Yeah. They would sit right by you, and you had to say exactly. And I would tell them, this guy, he's a construction worker. This one is a pharmaceutical rep. I'm going to talk to him different than this one. Like, hey, hey, ¿qué onda? Whatever. You talk different. The other one, different interests, different whatever. So you got to just talk to them as people. No,
Yeah.
you got to say it this way, and you got to say it this way. And the people used to tell me like, hey, did you just start? I said, no, I've been here for 7 months, but they like to sit down next to you and tell you exactly what to say and everything. I said, this is not.
yeah, so it didn't work
That
out for
was
me
crazy.
either. It didn't work out for me, and right after that, I don't remember if that was before I got my NASCAR and Target internship.
That's
But that was fun. But I mean, I didn't need coaching. I mean, not that I didn't need coaching on those, but I did well in those. But in other businesses that I was part of, back then I don't feel like they did enough coaching.
So you invest a
now
lot of
I do.
time and money. You invest a lot of time and money on coaching and
Yeah.
and,
So now, like,
marketing. I'm assuming and everything.
yeah. So now, like, I'm reading books
Mhm.
about how to manage people. I'm trying to learn from other owners and whatnot as well. To like, hey, how did you guys do it, and how does so on and so on. Actually, I meet with other business owners within Fully Promoted Brand.
Mhm.
At least I have one core group where I meet every other week,
Oh, nice.
and we just kind of talk business. Like, hey, how are you doing with this?
Like
How
a
you doing with
Zoom
that?
call or where?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I meet with one from Minnesota, one is from Iowa, and the other one's from Connecticut.
Is it the same type of issues, or
Yeah.
is it? I was wondering. Demographics are different. There's so many different things, but I wonder if it's the same thing everywhere.
Yeah. So for so many years, my dad and I used to cry wolf, to say it like this.
Mm-hmm.
For so many years, like, corporate would be like, hey, you need to be selling, $500,000 in a year instead of, whatever. And we're like, well, yeah, but like our market's smaller,
Mhm.
we're different. And we would make
We're
this.
right next to the border.
Yeah,
it's
we're right next to the border. And we would, be honest, make
prices,
excuses.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, it's just excuses. But
You don't think it's?
No.
You don't think it's true?
No,
Man, I think it might.
I think it, obviously there is, but everyone is different.
Uh-huh.
But everyone's the same.
So you just got to find the right customer, I'm assuming?
Yeah, so I think after maybe the last 5-10 years, I realized like what they're doing up there in wherever,
Minnesota.
or wherever, it's no different from here.
Mm.
And now, even more now, because now, like, not only do I meet with these people every other week, but I also have another group, what we call P3, where we meet in a monthly basis, and then we go to each other's facilities
Mm.
to kind of learn more on hands-on, like how they do business, from accounting, how they do the P&Ls to, everything,
Nice.
everything about it. And if there's anything I've learned is that we might all do business different, but we're all going through the same kind of struggles.
Mm.
We're all are trying to find an accountant,
Mhm.
a good accountant,
Good employees.
a good employee.
Yeah.
We all are looking to coach our employees correctly, deal with today's problems in regards to the generation
Yeah.
and what they value, and figuring out how we're all selling promo items, but we're also trying to figure out, okay, like, hey, you work really well with HR.
Mhm.
How can I do that?
Mm.
Or like the Minnesota guy, he does more construction.
Mhm.
I do more HR, or more medical, more university. He focuses more on construction, for example, or whatever the case is. And so we learn from each other.
Well, that saves a lot of time and money, though.
Yeah,
because
that definitely does. Because I think the first 10 to 15 years, it wasn't like that. Well, then again, the first 10 to 15 years, it was my dad managing. Not that he was managing it wrong. It was just also done different. Back then, we didn't have those circles like we do in networking, like we do now. So now, like me learning from other business owners who are 10, 15, 20 years older than I am, it's fantastic. So
it's super valuable.
Yeah, because now I'm not, it's still getting white hairs, but at least hopefully not as fast. But yeah, no, I mean, like it really helps in that aspect. And I value it because not only I get to know them as human beings, like we were talking about relationships.
Yeah.
Like this life is all about building relationships with other people.
And again, same thing, common values, common goals and everything.
Yeah. And so, so I think that's, so in the last 10, 15 years, I think I want to say that although the regions might be different and we might be selling different products, like ours does more employee welcome kits than maybe another one. And another one focuses more on beach towels because they're closer to the beach. I don't know, whatever. But at the end of the day, we're going through the same business problems. We're trying to make sure we got the right accounting. We're making right profit. That we're being on, doing all those things that we're putting, expenses where they need to be expensed and so on and so on. We're all trying to do that portion the same.
Yeah. Same struggles of owning a business.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you still have, like my dad used to say, at the end of the day, you still have to put the pants the same way the rich man does.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter. They got to put their 1 foot in, 1 foot, and then the next one. That's what it is. So I feel like the struggles I think at first we thought it was like, oh no, they're different. But more recently, I feel like, and not necessarily. I think we all struggle. Some struggle in certain areas because that's their weakness. And I think that's also another thing that I learned maybe 15 years ago from other owners is like hire to your weakness. Right. If you're fantastic at managing and you're not good at sales, then hire a salesperson or vice versa. Or, you're good at everything, which is obviously not true.
Yeah, you can't.
Like no business owner can do it alone.
Yeah.
Like,
and you're not good at everything either.
You're not good at everything. If you think you're good at everything, you're completely wrong.
Yeah. And it's not going to go good for you.
No, it's not.
Because you got to know what you're good at because obviously you're not good at everything.
Yeah. And you need to hire towards that and look for employees that will compliment you at the end of the day. And for them to know that, like, hey, like you're being hired because I think you bring this to the table.
Yeah. And you trust them. You do this better than me, or I'm trusting you to do this.
We wouldn't. As owners,
I don't know about that. Right?
As owners, we don't want to say better than us, but we will say
you're around.
Your strength is here. Is what I say. You're strong in this.
One day you might. No, I'm just joking.
No, you might come to my party. That's what you want to say.
That's what you're thinking. Right? No, I'm joking. No, but no, there's a lot of the guys I have. I know that they do everything they do it better than me. And
what was that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
They do. Like the guy that checks off the material.
But that's why you hired
better.
Them.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's why you hired.
And
them.
that way you could focus on something you're good at or you like doing.
Well, and that's one thing that they used to tell me all the time. They used to say is, you're not the business owner so you can do everything.
Yeah.
You're the business owner so you can help the company grow.
Yeah. Which is
like that's your goal. Like that's why now I don't take care of as many clients is because I'm trying to shift that. Like I'm trying to get to the point where I'm not working in the business, I'm working on the business.
Yeah.
Because working in the business meaning I'm doing the embroidery, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, instead of developing people to be able to do those tasks so that I can then focus, all right, we need a new embroidery machine. Yeah. Or we need this. So
this
would
be more efficient.
This is more efficient. Or we're going to move.
You're telling me that you're working till 10 o'clock.
Yeah. So I've been staying late. And it happens. See, that's a thing that sometimes as a business owner, you're like, oh yeah, I want my own business so I can make my own hours and work when I want to. And it's like,
have all the freedom.
It's the complete opposite, I think, sometimes. So at the end of the day, you got a business to run. You invested money into it. It's your livelihood. At the end of the day, this is what feeds your family. This is what feeds your employees.
Yeah.
I think that's also part of that. It's like kind of sometimes weighs on you. Like, hey, like I want the business to grow so that my employees could have a better life too.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, yeah. There's days that I get days off on a random day because I feel like it, because I'm gonna go take my kids to the beach or whatever the case is. Sometimes, maybe once in a blue moon. But yeah, recently we one of our staff members is no longer working full time with us, and they're working more remote and whatnot. Because of that, I had to hire someone in. So that transition, I don't say it's killed us because it obviously hasn't.
Yeah.
But it's a growing pain. It's a moment of like, oh man, like I need to need to hire someone in, need to write the right person, and then go through the process of training them. And I'm very hands on the training, because I want that core value to really be there. For her to understand, like in this case, for her to really understand, like we value extreme hard work. Like we expect hard work from everyone. Like I tell my kids and I tell the staff the same thing. I was like, I don't expect you to be perfect, but I expect you to give me your best. Does that make sense? So so right now in the last few weeks or months, I've had to work extra hours, which is normal. Sometimes you have to work 80 hours. Sometimes you have to work 150 hours, or whatever the case is. So right now, like in the last few weeks, I've been maybe working closer to 60 hours or so a week, compared to maybe, I don't know, 50 or whatever. I don't know. I haven't done the math, but yes, you're right. Yeah, last few days I've been working from 9 till sometimes even 10 o'clock at night. And it's part of it. Sometimes it's coming in the weekend. At the end of the day, we typically work Monday through Friday, but when a customer needs something, at the end of the day, we say it at the office, like if you make your yes be a yes.
How's that? What do you mean? Make your yes be a yes.
Meaning, if you promise that you were going to get something done, do what you got to do, but you got to get that done at the end of the day. And sometimes it means that as the business owner, hey, the staff says, hey, I can't stay over. I can't work extra hours because I got XYZ to do. And sometimes as an owner, it's like, at least for me, I don't know if you would be the same, but sometimes like, oh, man, come on, dude. Like, I need you. Like, I need you to pull through. But sometimes, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And you got to step in. And, I have, this past weekend, step in, do some heat presses for a client that needed, called us up on, I think it was Thursday of last week, calls us up, says, hey, I need 350 bags. I already have the bags. I just need you to put the logo on both sides. We never do that. But of course, it's, a client that is one of our larger clients. And not because of that, but because, at the end of the day, we're going to help them.
Yeah.
Even if it's a smaller company, we're going to try our best to help them. But they needed 350 bags. They're going to an event where they're going to give them out to the community. They already have the bags, so they just need us to decorate them. We don't normally do it in-house, but we're like, hey, look, we'll do it. Long story short, Saturday came, and we're still pressing. They needed, I think, 350 originally, but then they said, you know what, I just need 150 by Monday. So we were working on them on Friday, but it's double-sided. Takes some time.
Much.
Takes a lot of time. And so we were there, Friday working on it. Saturday, we were working on it. Thankfully, one of our employees is the one that really another employee took the hit and said, hey, I'll come in. I want the extra hours. So she came in. I paid her for, I obviously paid for her for that, but also, I guess this is all the parts that as a business owner now, you got to be more thoughtful. And I was like, hey, I called her up once I was done with the Buckner because it was on the same day. That's why I wasn't there. I was like, hey, what's your favorite food? She's like, well, I already knew that, but, I didn't have the papers in front of me because I asked the staff.
You write it down.
Yeah. So that's one of the things I do is that I part of the survey that I do with the staff is to get to know them. I ask them what's their favorite food, favorite restaurant, favorite, different things, snacks, etc. And in a yearly, like periodically, I'll give them, snacks, even something small, like a gift card for their birthday, the gift card to, I don't know, Olive Garden or whatever, and so on and so on. But going back, so on Saturday, she was out pressing. I wasn't there because I was at the Buckner event with my kids that I was telling you about earlier. And I called her up as soon as I got out so I could go and work. And she's like, hey, no, I got this.
Oh, that's good.
I got this. I was like, all right, sounds good. I'm going to Uber you some food. Where would you like it from? And I was like, anywhere you want. She was like, anywhere? Like, yeah, anywhere. You tell me where you want. I mean, thankfully she said,
Wait, hold on.
no, she's like, no, I'll take El Pollo Loco.
Oh.
Sweet. Across the
Oh, it's
street.
right there.
Yeah, and actually they're a customer of ours, so even better.
Mm.
So as I'm driving, my wife next to me ordered the Uber Eats, was delivered to her and whatnot. And those are the things that you got to do as a business owner. I think that you gotta. That I feel like they didn't do that before.
And also, well, not all business owners do that because it just depends on their people. But I don't feel like a lot of corporations do that, and that's something that's really nice about. And a lot of people don't see that too. That small businesses, I feel like they care about their employees more, and it's not as cold or like you said, it's not like
Well, I don't think it's
how
that-
it is. And
I don't not necessarily that they care more necessarily, but as a business owner,
Mhm.
I guess you care more in the sense of like you want your employees to succeed
Right.
because of it. But in corporations, you got an employee of an employee of an employee.
Mhm.
So then the HR is really not the owner. They don't have the same heart
right,
beat as you and I do.
Yeah.
You know, they used to tell us in corporate, they used to say, the best salesperson is the owner.
Mm.
But not only just a salesperson, the best HR person is going to be
Right.
the owner. The best XYZ is going to be the owner. And not because we're the best, but because we have the different motive. Our
Mhm.
heart is different
Mhm.
towards the business.
Right.
Because we see it almost like, I don't know if you see it like this, but I see it like my baby.
Mm.
Like I see it like not like I see my daughter, but like not as, severe, but I see it like in a different eyes compared to when I work for NASCAR, when I work for, I was motivated. I wanted to work and I want to earn money and so on and so on. But the mentality is different at the end of the day from a business owner to a large organization that is an employee of an employee of an employee.
Yeah. And then they have rules, and this is
Mhm.
how it is.
There's more
and
red tape.
and everything. And yeah, here it's like, well, we're not, just do it. Just that's fine.
Yeah.
You're gonna go overtime, but go overtime. Put in the hours. That's
We'll,
fine.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, because I remember in a lot of jobs, like, oh, you did overtime today. Tomorrow come in late. It's like, well, what the heck? So now I didn't even do overtime at the end of the week. So I put in a bunch of hours one day, and then you cut me. So here it's like you put in a lot of hours. Okay, well next day you come in at the same time. So you still get that overtime. But
And funny thing you say that because we typically try not to pay overtime for overhead reasons, of course. But one of the things that we've looked into doing is, let's say if we cut their hours, like
Mhm.
let's say they work extra on one day and he reduces it. First, my staff typically want that. They're like, hey, if I work extra today, can I maybe come in later tomorrow?
it's kind of weird, right?
Well,
I love it.
my
but-
staff. So my staff is not a morning person. People,
Oh,
none
really?
of them are. So if you tell them you could come in late, they're like, oh yeah, thank you. Like it's almost the best gift I've ever given them.
That's funny.
So that's why it just worked for me
Oh, okay.
in that aspect. But one of the things I've considered is like, hey, like if you work on days that you weren't expected, not only am I going to buy you food for that day,
Yeah.
but you get an extra day off for doing that because you had my back
Yeah.
at the end of the day. I mean, I've contemplated, I don't know if you do that or not, but at least that's something that I've contemplated where it's like, hey, like if you go, I mean, we already do something like that in the sense of like, if you do go above and beyond, I will do certain things for them. To say like that, like, like give them an extra, gift or whatever the case. But that is the huge difference, I think, from local business to
Mhm.
large organization. And it's funny because as a society, we don't value it the same.
Hmm.
Like you go to McDonald's, they get your order wrong, you say nothing.
Yeah.
You take it and you leave.
Yeah.
Or at the best, you tell them, hey, you messed up. Can you please do it right?
Mhm.
But you go to this, local shop, barbecue place, and they messed it up.
Forget it.
You give them a terrible review and you never go back.
Yeah. You tear.
Like, it's
you
crazy,
Tell everyone
like-
about it.
Yeah, and it's crazy how as a society, like, but when a large organization, we go back again and again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, support
that's the only
small
sad
businesses.
part. That's the only
Yeah.
like a frustrating part. But at the end of the day, local business is what drives our local community.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's what continues us moving forward.
And that's what I think we should all do, is support more local businesses, because we support families like yours, your employees, ours, and everything. So
The best part about what we do is being able, at least my case, is being able to see the staff grow and my kids grow. Like now, this whole work-life balance, it's kind of blended. It's more like a balance, just not work-life balance, it's just balancing the moments, the seasons. And sometimes there's seasons where you have to work hard, extra hard. Some seasons you're able to relax a little. And at the end of the day, I think the heart of the company is always going to be the business owner. And it's extremely important for a business owner to be extremely active in the business, from obviously not just decision making, but overall being present, sometimes doing some of the work that your employees would do, so that they could see that you're also plugged in, that you're in it. So the last thing I would say is just, businesses in general, you got to partner up, if it's with us or another company, whichever way, but partner up with a facility that's going to have your back in your marketing, to have your back in getting your branded apparel and your promotional products and your swag and your employee welcome kits, and help you grow that business from 1 employee to 50 employees to 150 employees, etc. Just partner up with someone, even if it's not with Fully Promoted McAllen, but if it is, fantastic. But if it's not, then just make sure it's the right company for you.
Yeah. And it's super important. Marketing, cash flow, sales, it's, obviously management is also important, but without cash flow, marketing, you're having nothing. So, and, you working with you, it's quality service, quality products, and that really help out the business. So where can people find you on social media, website, anything that they could get in contact with you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, so normally I would say you find me in the office. But no, the best way is just, obviously they could go to fullypromoted.com, which is our website.
Okay.
They could go to our social medias as well. They could call our office at 956-683-8006.
Okay.
Or just send me an email, mccallan.tx@fullypromoted.com. Simple as that.
All right. Well, thanks for coming by.
No, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
And thank you guys, and tune in to the next one.